Okay, good afternoon, Linda Plant. How are you doing?
Under the circumstances, I'm doing very well, making the best of it.
It's fantastic to see you. Chag Sameach. I hope you're having a lovely Pesach, an unusual one for sure, but a great one. I thought it would be great, as you know, I've been doing these interview series now for a couple of weeks, because the way I see it, the job of the rabbi is to obviously answer any Jewish questions that members may have, but also just to raise people's spirits. And you are a very well-known figure, both within St. John's Wood and the wider community. So I thank you so much for finding the time. And it's great to see you.
Well, thank you. And I think this is a great thing that you're doing, because you're bringing the community together, keeping the community together, keeping it interesting, keeping people interested, which can't be bad.
Thank you so much. So before we begin, just tell me a little bit about how long have you been a member of St. John's Wood Synagogue? When did you join? Tell us a bit about your connection with St. John's Wood.
Well, I joined St. John's Wood Synagogue 30 years ago because, as you know, I'm a northern girl, and I moved down from Leeds when my youngest son was born 30 years ago. And obviously, although I wouldn't say I'm the biggest shul goer in the world, I wanted to join a shul. St. John's Wood was the right vicinity for me. And I wanted the sense of community. I wanted the sense of bringing together that what a shul does. And I think whether you're going regularly or not as regularly, you need to be a member of a shul, and St. John's Wood was my choice, and I have stuck with it for 30 years.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got something in common, because I haven't been to shul in over a month, and as the rabbi, that's saying quite a lot. But perhaps you could tell us, I know you've been really involved at the front line of all the volunteering that the community's been doing. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's been.
You know, I think I've been lucky in life, and I think it's always good to give back if you can. And as much as I can and when I can, I think I'm the first to give back. And not only giving back does it help other people, but it gives you a fantastic feeling. About 2 months ago, as you know, I hosted 2 Israeli soldiers.
Right.
And nothing could have quite prepared me. I just thought I was hosting the soldiers and doing something for them. But nothing could have prepared me for what it emotionally did for me. So wherever possible, just as you know, on the car park of the synagogue a few days ago, I volunteered to help giving out the Seder meals. I think that community involvement, volunteering is just a fantastic thing, and we need more people to do it.
Thank you so much, and thanks for everything you do and continue to do. Let's talk a little bit about your business background. I know you started your business life selling fashion in a market store, is that right?
I did. I started at a...
Tell us about that, go on.
Oh, how long have we got? I started at a very young age selling ladies' hosiery, working for my mother in Dewsbury Market.
Don't go into too much detail. You're on the phone with the rabbi here, yeah?
Don't worry. Don't worry, no one's got that much time. So that's how I started. And let me tell you something. Standing on a market stall gave me one of the best business groundings in life. So I just, that's how I went. Luckily, I advanced from that stall into business, into becoming really an entrepreneur. Never thought I was, but I did. But you know something? My parents instilled good values in me. And
Where were they
values
from? Where were they from, your parents?
Well, actually, they were born in England. My father was born in Halifax, the only Jewish family in Halifax. Wow. He moved to Leeds when he was 13. But of course, his parents were Russian immigrants. My mother was born in Leeds, but her parents father was from Vienna, mother was from Russia. So they were second generation here.
Wow. So you think you got your entrepreneurial streak from your parents? That's where it came from?
I think that my entrepreneurial streak, if I was really honest, came from me. But I've got a mother who's quite 94 years. She's quite outspoken. Wow. So a combination of my parents, but I think largely, I don't know, it just grew within me.
So you've had a very exciting career. I know you won Northern Businesswoman of the Year. And tell us a little bit about that and some of the exciting roles that you've held over the years.
You know, I've had no formal education. I haven't got an O level and I haven't got an A level. But I built probably one of the biggest knitwear brands in the country, ladies knitwear brands in the country. I've had an exciting career. I've been in the fashion business. I've been in the electronics business. I've been in the property business. I've had a varied career from a very poor startup, really. And when I won Northern Businesswoman of the Year, I was living in Leeds and I had my fashion business. And I knew I was nominated, but I never, ever thought there was any chance of winning. So I went to Hong Kong and I was in Hong Kong. So when I got the notification that I'd won, so I never really had the pleasure of going up and receiving that award. But it meant quite a lot to me, actually. I was shocked. I was in shock.
Incredible, incredible. Now, I think everyone who watching this will know your face from The Apprentice, and everyone's curious to hear about that and how you know Sir Alan and how that all came about. Could you briefly tell us a little bit about that and what that experience was like for you?
Yeah, well, I met Alan in the 80s, really, when he had a company called Amstrad and I had my fashion business called Honeysuckle, and both businesses were importing businesses. So how I first met him was really in Hong Kong, in Korea. I used to bump into him quite often. And I wasn't socially friendly with him, but I did have a connection with him, and we would meet each other quite often. And then he became quite friendly with my son because Alan spends half his year in Florida, and I've got a son who lives in Florida. And so although I never lost the connection with him, and then one day I got the call from him, would I like to audition for The Apprentice? And I think part of that choice was when Alan is looking for an advice. I mean, I'm flattered that he thought I could do it because I had no idea, but I thought I'll have a go. But I think also he needs people who can relate to him, who have been through perhaps the business journey that he's been through, so that the advice we can give him is something that he will understand and receive. So yeah, it was a thrilling. It was a thrill to be asked, and I thought, can I do it? And then I thought, well, I've got a saying in life: if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the lottery. I'll have a go. What's the worst that can happen? And so off I went for the audition, and the rest is history.
And it's really quite dramatized. Probably it's not so cutthroat in real life, or is it?
Well, I always say reality TV is TV first. However, everything that you see on the interviews is real. The interview process is one take only, but then it's edited afterwards. And my role, I mean, Alan made it quite clear that what he wanted from me, he was looking for someone who would scrutinize the business plans, dig deep, look for the faults, and that's how I delivered, because after my first show, I had some press write-up that said I was the queen of mean. So I knew on that basis that I had delivered the brief that Alan gave me. But I think, hopefully, I'm popular as well as being the queen of mean.
And tell me something, how has your Judaism perhaps influenced your business ethics and your outlook in life in general? Has your Judaism played a part in that at all?
Well, I wouldn't say I am very religious, because I'm not, but I'm a Zionist. I'm 1,000,000% Jewish through and through. I have a close affinity to Israel. I have worked in all different charities, starting with a friend of mine, our own charity called Mission Possible. You know, I think Judaism is just part of me. I never even think about it. I'm 100%, 1,000,000% Jewish, and that's just in my blood. It's through my life. So I might not go to shul as often as you, but you know, I'm proud.
I think you're going to come more often. I think you're going to come more often when this is all over. I
am going to come more often.
I'm going to hold you to that. Let me ask you the following. So I want to quote you here. You've been quoted to say, "Work hard. When the going gets tough, don't give up, and you will gain respect and achieve your ambitions." Now, we all know right now, this period of time we're living through is definitely, the going has got tough. And it's particularly difficult for people in the business world, people who are, you know, have startups or small businesses or even medium to large size businesses. Do you have any tips or general advice that you would share with them?
Well, I think that we all find ourselves at home. I think that, first of all, if you're looking at a startup, if this is something new, this is a time for reflection. If you want to start up a business, you've got lots of time now to work hard on the startup, reflect on what you want to do, what are your goals, what do you want to achieve. That would be my advice. And I myself am launching a business course. So I'm quite busy at home now, putting content to that business course. So I want to help people gain experience. I've had a long journey and a very varied journey in my life, 50 years nearly of business experience. So I felt that this is a good time to perhaps share that with people.
So that's amazing. That's very industrious of you. You're using this time really to prepare for this next venture that you're going to embark on.
I am. And I think that people can do that, especially if you've got a startup or you want to start up. And if you've got an existing business, there's a lot of reflection you can do and thinking about it. And none of us really know economically the impact that this is going to have on our businesses when we come out of this period.
Sure. It's a very tough time. You know, it's interesting. I learn a page of Talmud every day, and the Talmud says yesterday that when somebody leaves this world, the first question they are asked, it isn't how many times you went to shul or what level standard of kashrut you kept. The very first question a person is asked, did you act in business faithfully? Were you honest? Were you upright? And I think you have a lot to teach everybody about the ethics and importance of that in the business world. I think that's really, really important.
I think that the way you are being honest, trying to be the best person you can. We're not all perfect, but it shouldn't just be in business. It should be your ethos through life, doing the best you can. I've always prided myself on trying to have as much in business integrity as I can. I think that I've always been of the mind that you have to treat people the way you would want to be treated. And I think that has worked well for me, because through all my different businesses, my staff have remained loyal to me and they have respected me. And I don't take respect for granted, because respect in anything in life has to be earned. So you have to put in to get out. And that's not just in business, it's throughout life.
Well, Linda, you've summed up so nicely. You're hired. If I was in the boardroom, I'd hire you. Fantastic. It's been such a pleasure interviewing you. Do you have any closing message to St. John's Wood community who are going to be watching this?
I think stay safe, you know, just do your best to get through it. It's tough times, just make the best of it. Everybody stay safe. And in any way, if the people who are able can help the people who are in more difficult positions, let's pull together, let's do it. I, for one, am saying anything I can do to help, please contact me in any way you can. I am here to do my bit for the community.
Thank you so much for everything you do. Hashem should bless you. I won't be seeing you in the boardroom, but I'll hopefully be seeing you in the Kiddush room, and I wish you well.
You will. Same to you. Wish you well too. And I'll be there in that Kiddush room.
Looking forward.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.